Payton announced that the team has made the decision to bench Russell Wilson for the final 2 games of the season in favor of Jarrett Stidham. Adam Schefter reporting the team likely to release Wilson in the offseason. Here's why Sean Payton says the move was made.
I can't replace the entire offensive line. I can't bring in 5 new receivers. And if it continues over a period of time, then there'll be another guy here talking to you as well. I can just assure you one thing. I'm just interested in winning.
Oh, that was Nathan.
Okay, Bart, so what do you think likely destination for Russ next season?
I mean, I was going to say Dance with the Stars. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be funny, but I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm truthful. I just don't know if Russell Wilson is made of the type of stuff to kind of get gutter, get gangster, get gritty all over again, right? I don't know, after having this prestigious career, this high-profile relationship, if he can go back to the basics and go fight for something all over again at the age of 35. Right? I don't know if he's built to that. Only he knows how much he loves football, because it's going to be about restoring his reputation more about than securing another bag, right? We talk about Russ Inc. I don't know if that's good for business for him to go out and do the Baker Mayfield route. I mean, people talk about Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield never hit the heights that Russell Wilson has hit. We never saw Phillip Rivers be a backup. You know, we see guys of his resume and his stature go on and have high-profile jobs. I just don't know if he's made of that. So that's why I say he's more likely to be with Dancing with the Stars or being on a pregame show than he does in going out and actually playing for another NFL team.
What do you think?
Honestly, all the QB-needy teams that you could think of, Commanders, Falcons, you can name them all. I would say Falcons only because, a couple years ago, they were all in on Deshaun Watson. Literally all in on Deshaun Watson until the Cleveland Browns said, oh, no, we're paying him $230 million guaranteed. And the Falcons have not, despite having Desmond Ridder, despite the Taylor Heineke back and forth Ridder situation, they still need somebody. Commanders, I think this piggybacks off Bart's point, which is I don't know if Russell is going to want to go to a team to compete or take a backup job. Because if he wants to take a backup job, he can go a lot of places. But if he wants to go to a team, let's say the Steelers, like, okay, you think they're kind of a win-now team, right? I'm only going to go the Steelers. Like, I think that's a special situation. I don't know. I don't like that fit personality-wise. I don't like the Tomlin-Russell, that locker room fit. He's too suburban. It's not going to work. So again, a lot of these teams are rebuilds. A lot of these teams, I think you have to plug Russell in to assist a team that's built to win now. And I don't know the personality.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I had said the Atlanta Falcons because I think that the pieces that they have offensively, obviously talk about Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Drake London. Mm-hmm. They got 3 guys that were drafted in the top 10. So they got talent down there, pretty good offensive line. But I'm going to go back to the conversation we had actually on Get Up this morning. What I said is that I think this whole thing is going to be about how much Russ really loves football. Because we're now in a situation where Russ is not going to be in Denver, but he's guaranteed, regardless of all this stuff, what is it, $39 million?
Yep.
$39 million. Mm-hmm. He can just sit on his behind for a whole year and collect $39 million. Or do you want to get it out of the mud and go somewhere where you may not even be named the guy? You may have to compete with a draft pick, another veteran, for the starting quarterback position. So that's the real question that I have for Russell Wilson. Like, okay, what now? Do you really love the game of football? Do you really want to go somewhere and kind of reestablish yourself where you don't have this massive contract and you have $39 million coming to you next season regardless? That to me is the real question that relates to Russell Wilson.
And that's a question that every athlete, Damian, Bart, you can speak to this, has to sort of be confronted with. When you are not the guy anymore at your position, when you are not playing at the standard that you once held, your height, you have to sort of rebrand yourself emotionally, intellectually, and say, I'm not that dude, but can I be just one of the guys? Can I be just a decent player? Can I be a decent player? Can I just be? Do I have to be the guy? And a lot of players have a hard time, especially at quarterback, even when they haven't been on teams for a long time, understanding.
You know I have a problem. You know what I think I have a problem with that is because most elite athletes, once you start declining, you're like, I can't be average. When I know I've played at this level and I can't play at that level anymore, it's time for me to go. That's why this whole thing for me is a question of, well, how bad does Russell Wilson love the game of football?
But would he want to go out like
But
this?
how about this?
It's been guys that done it.
Based off that, because there's a number of teams, as you talk about, hey, the Vikings, even the Raiders. I mean, there's a number of teams that could use a quarterback.
Let's say.
But based off of what you just said there, I remember a couple of seasons ago when he made that trade, we're like, whoa, Russell's going there. Man,
it's the finishing piece.
This is the finishing piece. What has this done to his legacy? Because we thought he was on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think it's taking a sledgehammer to his legacy. I mean, think about this. I'm going to tell you the exact moment where I'm like, it's a wrap for that. Is when Denver traded, when Seattle traded Russ to Denver, and then Geno came in and had better stats than Russell did in the exact same system. That, to me, told me everything I need to hear. A lot of times, man, like, who goes out there and deals with franchise quarterbacks?
You don't unless you know something.
Yeah, I'm right. Exactly. You don't trade away franchise quarterbacks unless you see it every day. Every day. Think about it. Pete Carroll was watching this every single day. And he knew, he's like, all right, I'm going to trade you away. We can live with, I'm going to ride it out with Geno.
And they're not just living. They're not just living. They're thriving.
Right. Like they are living, thriving in this Geno world, and Russell Wilson is over here in Denver and now about to be cast off again.
Bart, what does it do to his legacy?
I mean, I thought that he was on the outside looking in, right? Because I thought that if he'd have won that Super Bowl, the one with beast mode, quarterback, 2 Super Bowls automatically goes in, right? So it left a void in his resume. He still had work to do, like showing that he can be as effective with a new team and he can elevate another franchise. And we're kind of having this argument on Get Up. And what I was talking about is, to me, he's Joe Flacco. And everybody at first glance, they laugh at it. Well, what does the numbers say? The numbers say Joe Flacco threw for 43,000 and ticking, right? 627 yards. Russell Wilson, 43,653, right? We talk about, both are Super Bowl winners. Joe Flacco's a Super Bowl MVP. Joe Flacco, we talk about his playoff record. I think it's very similar there. We would never mention Joe Flacco in the Hall of Fame, but sometimes, when you think about, we don't really understand the full scope. Pete Carroll knew something because he was protecting Russell Wilson. We heard, all the rumblings from the Legion of Boom and what they said, and, we give them a lot of credit for the success of Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson was never able to do it once the Legion of Boom was dissolved. So I think his Hall of Fame resume, I think, is void and empty.
It's funny that you say Pete Carroll was protecting him because in the end, it was Russell Wilson who was trying to get Pete Carroll out of Seattle.
I think this comes down to, is Russell okay with his story ending like this?
Yeah.
Or is Russell going to be the writer of his own story? He's got the pen. He can dictate he tweeted, God's got me. So how he chooses to move from now on, that will dictate what kind of career he ultimately ends up. Because he could have a Joe Flacco, Baker Mayfield resurgence where he may not be the guy, but into that position. Again, I don't see that happening.
It has to be a perfect situation. The story has to go perfectly for that to happen. I just don't know what environment that is because a lot comes with Russell. Remember, he's never been known as a good locker room guy. He's a guy that isolates himself, and I doubt if he goes to a different place, they're going to give him his own office, right? We talk about everything that comes with the production of Russell Inc. So I don't know if somebody wants to put up with that, knowing that the juice may not be worth the squeeze.
Maybe he can learn. Maybe he'll be different.
Yeah. He'd get gutter like Rocky going back and fighting with Apollo Creed or something like that.
Just like that. Just like that.
That's what we're talking about. We're going to Philly to go ahead. Mick, I want to throw my right arm.
Maybe he can. We'll see.
Let's see if he got that gutter in him.
We will see. All right, still to come.
Same places.
Don't miss